Hello everybody, my name is Birdie and welcome to Nice Cars For You. Today we're gonna share an install video of the auxiliary battery on a Jeep Wrangler JL. And I believe I've found the simplest and easiest way to do that install. Now, before we get to that point, allow me a moment to elaborate on how we got to this point in the first place. Because let me be clear, that I didn't want to do this install. I did not want to do it. What I wanted to do, and what I even attempted to do, was bypassing that auxiliary battery. I wanted to delete that battery. Of course, I watched a ton of videos on YouTube about removing fuse 42 and disconnecting the battery, the negative battery terminal, either one. Well, I tried both options, and I'm here to say that it did not work for me. Unfortunately, if it worked for you, great, but that wasn't an option for me. So, which left me with no other option but replacing the battery. One thing that remained a major concern was the location of the battery, because there are two ways you can go about it. The first way was to go on tap, removing the fuse box, removing the main battery, and that was a lot of work, and I wasn't up for none of that. Okay, so I picked the second option, where you go above the fender liner, and that's under the battery, so it's sitting in the case. And the install video is gonna show you how simple it is to do without removing the old fender liners and all the clips and tabs. And we're not gonna do none of that. Okay, so some of the signs, I don't know if there are more, but at least I'm aware of 3 of them. If you have the start and stop option, that feature is gonna be visible, and then you will get the message on the cluster. That's one. To me, that's a non-factor because I don't use it. I have JL Mini and I disabled that option anyway. The second thing, when you start the car, when you first start the car, it's gonna throw a message on the cluster stating that your auxiliary switches aren't gonna work until the battery is charged. That's another one. The third, which is the worst one, is that small battery kept on draining the big battery. Okay, and there's no way around it. Before you know it, you're about to start the car and you realize the car won't start. All right, and that led me to this point. All right, let's start with the install. This is the battery we're looking at on the ground. So if you notice, the wheels are turning toward the passenger side. So this is the battery we're looking at right there. So I already removed the 2 tabs, but what I realized, I had very little room to work with. So eventually what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go on the other side and turn the wheels, the front wheels, toward the driver's side. So that way, when it turned, as you can see right here, you see, it's pointing the passenger side. So I'm gonna go and turn it toward the driver's side, so that way I can have more room under the fender so I can work with. Okay, so here I am. See, now the wheels are pointing toward the other direction. So remove those 2 tabs from the bottom. Okay, you remove those tabs right there. You're gonna see it here, and then once you do the bottom ones, so the 2 tabs on the side, it's a lot easier, and that gives you access to the battery. So what we're looking at right there, that is the camera pointing up from the ground, pointing up, and we're looking at the bottom of the auxiliary battery, and there are 4. Now what I did here, I fold the fender liner and let it rest on the tire so I could have enough room to work with. Okay, so this is a 10mm socket. To remove those 3 bolts, you have 2 on this side and then one in the back. So that's exactly what I'm doing. And while doing it, be careful because there's some dirt So during the whole process, I was wearing my goggles. All right, and if you have an extension, you definitely need an extension. You need at least a 6-inch. So that's definitely gonna help. All right. So I've already removed 2 bolts. I'm about to remove the third one. Again, once the third one is completely loose, as you can see, you see the whole case, the whole battery start dropping. Okay. And I'm gonna have to hold it with one hand, and that's when I started going very slow. Right. I was being very careful there. All right. I was having a phone call. Here you go. I was going very slow. Again, it's pretty simple. If you wanna fast forward, you can fast forward. So now I have the battery in my hand. So there's nothing. It's not being held by anything else. So it's not sticky or anything. So now I'm removing the case. This is the plastic case that holds the battery. Okay. That's what I'm removing. Right there. Okay. Put it down. So now that's me holding the battery. The battery is currently hanging. Okay. And being held by the battery terminals. Now here's the thing. So that's why I got a closer shot here. So you're gonna hold the battery to a certain angle, okay? Like this. So once you tilt it to that angle, it's gonna reveal the bolts on top, and then all you do is just removing those bolts. It's pretty simple, folks. Now what I realized, what I did there, I forgot to disconnect the main battery now. So I'm disconnecting the main battery, and I kept the terminal separated. I was using this, okay? Now I'm gonna go back under the Jeep so I can finish that job. So here's the battery. So now again, don't buy that battery. The battery you need is AUX14, not AUX12. So I purchased the wrong one. So that's me releasing the battery. You see up there, here we go. Do you see how one is taller? Here's the message. The message that you can pause it when you watch the video again. So all 3 batteries, and pause it, you can watch. And folks, it's pretty easy, and just reverse it. And there you have the battery being installed, and then mount it back, and then you have your work done. Thanks for watching.